Okay, I will start once again for the latecomers. Security. Security. That means it's a freedom from or resilience against potential harm caused by others, or the quality of state of being secure to be free from danger. Every organization should and must have multiple layers of security in place, like physical security. That means the protection of personal, hardware, software, networks, and data from physical actions and events that could cause serious loss or damage to the enterprise. Personal security, that access, that is a security discipline that access the loyalty, reliability, and trustworthiness of individuals for initial and continued eligibility for access to classified information. Operation security, it's a process that identifies critical information to determine if friendly action can be observed by enmity or enemy intelligence, determines if information obtained by adversaries could be interpreted to be useful for them. Then comes communication security. It's the prevention of unauthorized access to telecommunication, traffic, or to any written information that is transmitted or transferred. There are several communication security disciplines, including cryptographic security, encrypts the data and render it unavailable or unreadable until the data is decrypted. Then comes network security. It's a broad term or it's a big term, we can able to tell. That covers the multitude of technologies, devices, and processes. In simple form, we can tell it's a set of rules and configurations designed to protect the integrity, confidentiality, and accessibility, which also called a CIA triangle. That is confidentiality, integrity, and accessibility. Then finally, our topic, that is information security. It's not only about securing the information from unauthorized access. It also includes preventing unauthorized access, uses, disclosures, disruption, modification, inspection, recording, and destruction of information. So it can be physical, that is in paper, in book, etc., or it can be electronic, that is in digital form. So information can be anything like your details. We can say that your profile on social media, data on in the mobile phones, or your biometrics. Biometrics indicates that your impression, your iris recognition, or your smiley, etc. Everything will come under this biometric category. So thus, information security span so much research areas like cryptography, mobile computing, cyber forensics, online social media, etc. So then comes the CIA triangle, the protection of information. That is information security. That means the protection of information and its critical elements, including system and hardware that use, store, and transmit the information. So the necessary tools are like privacy, awareness, training, education, and technology. So information security programs are built around the three different objectives and commonly known as CIA triangle, that is confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Confidentiality means information that is disclosed to unauthorized individuals, entities, and process. For example, if we say that we are having a password and somebody looked it from the back, we can tell that the password confidentiality is lost. Okay. Second one is integrity. That means maintaining the accuracy and completeness of the information. Like which I mentioned just before, your attendance. If your attendance is not updated, that means you are absent in the class. So if you are leaving or if you are taking permission according that everything, like an employee, when he left the job, surely his database or his information will be in multiple departments of the organization. So when he left the organization, all the departmental information must be updated that job left or something. So that means you can tell that the given information is correct and complete to the maximum. Then the third one, that is availability. It means information must be available when and where it is required. For example, if one needs to access information of a particular employee to check whether employee has outstanded the number of leaves. Suppose if the employee took more leaves, surely his information should be updated. Otherwise, what will happen? Even though he is absent, he is going to get a full salary. Just imagine, it's a big loss for the organization, big loss for the company. So every information must have a confidentiality, must have integrity, and must be available when and where it is required. Okay? Clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yes.
one thing I want to tell you.
Yeah, clear.
Okay, every time I used to tell that if I could able to finish before 40 minutes, it's okay. Otherwise, after 40 minutes, it will automatically stop. I will continue after that within 1 minute time. Okay, I'm not going to take any time. You know, because I'm using Zoom Basic, its access is only restricted to 40 minutes. Don't go away.
Okay.
Okay. So when it comes to availability, we can tell that the employee has outstanded the number of leaves. In that case, it requires collaboration with the different organizational teams like network operations, development operations, incident response and policy change management, etc. So then comes denial of attack. Okay, that I will explain you later. DOS, denial of service attack, is one of the factors that can hamper the availability of information. See here, I mentioned that, okay, here CIS had now expanded into a list of critical characteristics of the information. So these are all the different security services. First one is confidentiality. What is confidentiality? To keep the message secret to those that are not authorized to read it. That is called confidentiality. Second one is authentication. To verify the identity of the user or computer. That is why whenever you are entering into Gmail, whenever you are entering into Zoom, for example, that means in order to create, that means if you want to host a meeting, if you want to host a seminar, you need to enter your username and password. That means you are authenticating to verify the identity of the user or the computer. Third one is access control. So what is access control? To be able to tell who can do what with which resources, who can able to access the information. Okay, one example or one point I want to tell you. Can you access any of my information, any of my property from my office without my permission?
Sorry.
No.
Yeah, sorry,
Okay, can you access any of the material, any of the topics, sorry, any of the material from my office without my permission?
No.
No.
Okay, suppose in the class I am telling, okay, Delfino, go to my office. I am giving him the key. Go to my office and from the first drawer, you take the paper bundle. That means what? I am giving the access control to Delfino to collect the paper. So it is with the permission.
Amazing, yeah.
Got it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next, that is about integrity. To make sure that the message has not been changed while on transfer or storage. That means the completeness and correctness of the message. Then comes non-repudiation. To make sure that a user or server cannot deny, cannot stop later having participated in a transition or in a transaction. And then finally, availability. That means to make sure that the services are always available to the users. Just imagine the first one, confidentiality. That means the message should not be available to the unauthorized person to read it, to use it, to modify it, to extract it, to destroy it, etc. Second one is authentication. To verify the user, means whether he is a genuine user or not. See, for example, if you check some websites recently, immediately a small window will come and it is asking that check whether you are not a robot, because now hackers are using robotical programs to access the information from it. So when you tick that, it indicates that you are not a robot, you are a human. That means you are getting the authorization, you are getting the authentication to extract the work, to use the work. Then comes access control, to be able to tell who can do a particular activity. Integrity means there will not be any change, there will not be any destruction, there will not be any modifications to the information or the message that you are passing through the network, passing through one medium to another medium. Then comes non-repudiation, to make sure that the user or server can't deny, can't restrict, can't tell later having participated in a transaction. That means you participated in a transaction and later stages you are telling, no, I didn't do. That you cannot. And then comes the final one, that is availability, to make sure that the services are always available to the users. Okay, is clear?
Clear.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, clear.
Okay. Then come see, this is the general components of information security. So information security management, computers and data security, the network security. So network security we can tell, computer and data security we can tell, information security we can tell. So the combination of all the three will be the policies which included for both, for all network security, computer and data security, as well as information security. So information security means securing the information. Network security means securing the network. Computer and data security means securing the computer as well as data. Okay. So the critical characteristics of information. So what are the different characteristics? First one is availability. What is availability? Available the information when and where it is necessary. Accuracy, perfectness, authenticity. That means authorization to use, confidentiality, the secretness, integrity, the correctness, utility, the usage, and last one, possession, that means ownership. See, for possession, the best example. Suppose, since I am a researcher, I usually write papers, research papers. When I am publishing the research papers for IEEE, they will ask me to write a copyright form. So once if you sign the copyright form, that indicates that. Then afterwards, once if it is published under IEEE, that indicates that the paper is not belongs to me. It belongs to IEEE. If I want to read the paper sometimes, if I want to get the paper sometimes, I need to make payment. Or my friends, they need to make payment. So that is called ownership. If it is my property, that means my property. Without my permission, without my acceptance, nobody can able to access, nobody can able to access the information, modify, etc., etc., etc. Okay. Then comes, this is the NST ISSC model. That is National Security Telecommunications and Information System Security Committee model. So here, availability, integrity, and confidentiality in storage, in process and transition. See, this is the policy. So policy automatically will increase from one phase to another. That is, for storage, what we need security. Processing, we need security. For during transmission, we need security. Why? Because during the storage, there may be malpractice, there may happen malpractice. During processing, there may be some mistakes, and it will lead to a negative or wrong outputs. And while transmitting also, someone may leak it, someone may take it, someone may modify it, etc., etc., etc. will happen. Okay, I will continue.
Okay.
Okay, can you hear?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yes.
So next one, it is mentioning about components of. Okay, next topic, yeah, components of an information system. So what is information system? It can be termed as the set of softwares, hardwares, data, people, procedures, and network necessary to use the information as a resource in the organization or in the information system. We can tell in other words, the system which accepts the data, process the data, process the data, store the data, and disseminate or distribute the data. So that is about information system. So how can we secure the components? Computer can be subject to an attack or the object of an attack. So when we are considering about computer, it may be the subject of the attack or it may be the object of the attack. So when it will be the subject of the attack, so computer will be used as an active tool to conduct the attack. Okay, subjective attack. That means computer will be used for attacking. And when it will become the object of an attack, computer is going to be attacked. You got the point between the subject of an attack and object of an attack?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
That means subject of an attack means we will use the computer to do the attack. And object of an attack means we are going to attack, or the hackers are going to attack the contents or the information within the computer. See here, this is computer as a subject and object of an attack. Hackers using the computer as a subject of an attack and remote system, that is the object of an attack. So what they will do, they will request with the help of internet, they will store the information. They will see normally, I think even if it is in here also, the people started particularly from Zain and NTN, they are asking that you had some 20,000 or 30,000 SDG. So if you want to get that money, you please recharge for 100 SDG like that. Isn't it? So it's a kind of, what the thing is that revenue generation by cheating the people. Then comes, there are mainly two approaches to information security. Those approaches are bottom-up approach, which is also called as the grassroots approach. The system administrators attempt to improve the security of their system. That is from bottom to top. But the problem is that seldom, very rare, the bottom-up approach, that is the workers may not get the participant support because they may not be involved in these security mechanisms. Second one is the top-down approach. It will initiate from the top management, like they are issuing the policies, procedures, process, dictate goals and expected outcome of the project, determine accountability of each required actions. So from there, it will come to the middle level. From there, it will come to the lower level. See here from this picture, it is clear that in top-down approach from top to bottom and bottom-up approach, it is from lower level to the upper level. So starting from CEO, the Chief Executive Officer, then CFO, Chief Finance Officer, Chief Information Officer, Chief Operation Officer, then Chief Information Security Officer, Vice President of Systems, Security Managers, Security Admin, Security Technicians, System Technicians, Network Technicians, like that. So from top to bottom, starting from Chief Security Officer to the security technology for system techniques or technology or network technology, like that. That is top-down approach. And second, from security or system or network technicians back to the top level, CEO level, that is bottom-up approach. The system development life cycle or SDLC. So what is SDLC? You study it in software engineering. It's a methodology for design and implementation of information system within an organization. And methodology is formal approach to problem solving based on structural or structured sequence of procedures. So how the system development life cycle will execute. investigation, analysis, logical design, physical design, implementation, maintenance, and change. And see here. So investigation, analysis, logical design, physical design, implementation, and maintenance and change. So this is the same in the security system development lifecycle. Also, we are following the same method. So who are all the information security project teams? Champion, the topmost, team leader, security policy developers, risk assessment specialists, those who are assessing the risk, security professionals, system administrators, and end users. So data ownership, data owner who is the responsible for the security and use of a particular set of information. Data custodian, they are the one who is responsible for the storage, maintenance, and protection of information. Data users like we people, the end users who work with information to perform their daily job, supporting the mission of the organization. So we have data owners, that means responsible for the security and use of the particular set of information. Data custodian, who is responsible for the storage, manipulation, maintenance, and protection. Data users, the end users. So communities of internet, the group of individuals united by similar interests. That means the people, those who are having same interest or similar interest or value within the organization. So information security management and professionals, information technology management and professionals, organizational management and professionals. And then comes threat. What is threat? What is meant by threat? Nobody is there?
Hello?
What is meant by threat?
Yeah, here is.
Okay, so threat in simple terms that those who are or a kind of danger or nature of danger. So we can tell that an object or person or other entity that represent a constant danger to an asset. Constant danger to an asset.
Yeah.
So management, see, many threats are there, we are going one by one. Management must be informed of the different threats facing the organization. By example, each threat category, management effectively protect the information through policy, educating the employees, giving training to them, and by using some technology controls. For example, this is an old statistics. In 2006, according to Computer Society or Computer Security Institute and Federal Bureau of Investigation survey found that 72% of organization reported cybersecurity breaches within the last 12 months. Just imagine it was in 2016. Just imagine now. Okay, we can tell it may be, mostly it is increased. Assange, you know, WikiLeaks. So he breached or he took almost all the information, all the American secret information, investigations or intelligence information he had breached or he had taken. And 52% of the respondents identified unauthorized computer use. So threat is nothing but it is a constant danger to an asset. That is called, simply we can tell that is called a threat. So what are the different kinds of threats to information security? Starting from act of human error or failure. See, human error, that is quite common. We will make mistakes, no, deliberately or not deliberately. Examples like accidents or mistakes. Then compromises to intellectual property like privacy, copyright, infringement, etc. Deliberate act of espionage or trespass, like unauthorized access or data collection, deliberate act of information extortion, that means blackmail of information disclosure, deliberate act of sabotage or vandalism, that is destruction of system of information, deliberate act of theft, illegal confiscation of equipment or information, deliberate software attack like virus, worms, macro, denial of attack, distributed denial of attack, etc. Force of nature like fire, flood, earthquake, lightning, deviations in quality of service from the service providers like power and WAN service issues, technical hardware failures or errors, equipment failure, technical software failures or errors, bugs, code problems, unknown loopholes, technical obsolescence like antiquated or outdated technologies. See, these are all some of the threats that we can able to explain it over here. Okay, there is act of human error, compromise to intellectual property, deliberate act of unauthorized access, blackmailing, destruction of system or information, illegal confiscation of equipment or information, deliberate software attack, forces of nature, delivery of quality of service from the service provider, technical hardware failure, technical software failure, and technical obsolescence. That means outdated softwares or outdated hardware if you are using, it will be a threat for our organization or our information. So what is attack? What is services? What is mechanism? Attacks means what? Any action that compromises the security of information. Any attack that happens to the security of information, which comes under attacks. What is in by attack or service security or security services? It is a service that enhances, that improves the security of data processing system and information transfers. Or a security service makes use of one or more security mechanisms. And security mechanism means it is a mechanism. Example, cryptography, we can tell it's a mechanism. A mechanism that is designed to detect, prevent, or recover from a security attack. See here, what are the general attacks that will happen for the information which passes through the network? Just imagine, these are all the general security attacks. See, the first one, that is a normal flow from the information source to the information destination. That means from the source to the destination, the message is passing without any disturbance. See, the first category, that is called interruption. It is the act of something or the state of being interrupted, such as a stoppage or hindering of an activity for a time. Our conversation continued without interruption for over an hour, or for over 40 minutes, for example. A break in the continuity of something, internet service interrupt. So in this case, what is happening? The sender, he sent the information, but unfortunately, the receiver is not going to get this. So that is called interruption. Is it clear?
Yeah, clear.
Okay. So we can tell in other words, interruption is, this is the attack on availability of information. See, the receiver is not going to get the information. Second one is interception. That is to take, to seize or halt someone or something on the way from one place to another, cut off from the intended destination, to intercept a messenger to see or overhear a message or transmission, etc. See here in this case, what is happening? The message is passing from the sender to the destination, but in between there is an intruder who is accessing the information. So that intruder may read the information, he may leak the information, he may use the information some other purpose, etc. Third one is modification. It is nothing but a change of alteration, usually to make something work better. You want to change something, in other words, modify it. And then the fourth one, that is fabrication. Actually, the sender didn't send any message, but the receiver receiving the message stating that it is sent from Mr. X. So interruption, this is attack on availability. Interception is attack on confidentiality. Modification, this is the attack on integrity. and fabrication is the attack on authenticity. Just imagine if you are getting a message in my email address. If it is an attachment, for sure you will open. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Because
Yes, sir.
you know that I send it. But sometimes what the hacker will do, they will hack my account, they will hack my email account, and they will send you a message asking for money sometimes, asking for some information, asking for some relevant help or whatever it may be, stating that it is sent from me. Since when you will look at the mail, you are stating that, okay, it is from me. So automatically you will open. Sometimes you will start helping the people, but you will know when you will make a call to me, sir, whether you asked me for any help, whether you asked me for any information. Then whenever I will tell, no, I didn't do, or I didn't ask for anything, then only you will know that you are cheated. So these are all the generally for security attacks like interception, modification, and fabrication. Interruption is the attack on availability. Interception is the attack on confidentiality. Modification is the attack on integrity, and fabrication is the attack on authenticity. Okay, so what are the attacks? General attacks, we can tell malicious code. So what is that? It is used to describe any code in any part of software system or script that is intended to cause undesired effects, security breaches, or damage to a system. And malicious code is an application security threat that cannot be efficiently or effectively controlled by conventional antivirus software itself. See, for example, the execution of viruses, worms, Trojan horses, and active web scripts with the intent to destroy or steal the information. Then comes FIAX, something intended to deceive. So it is a falsehood deliberately fabricated as a truth. It is distinguishable from errors in observation or judgment. Rumors. Please don't make any noise. So HIAX means transmission of a virus HIAX with a real virus attached. So what it will do? It will mislead you. And then third one, that is about the backdoor. It is a type of malware that gives the crypto criminals unauthorized access to a website. See, generally what the thief they will do, they will come from the open door, means from the front door, and they will keep open the back door or the kitchen door for others to enter. The same thing will happen through the back door. If there is any mistakes or any errors in the programming code, so through that errors, they will try to enter and they will insert or input their own code, their own malicious code, for example, their own code for tracking, their own code for stealing the information, etc. Then comes password crack. So it is attempt to reverse the calculated password. See, generally we are using some common password. So what they have a list of passwords. So then it will make a comparison between these two. When there is a similarity found, they will try to crack that given password. Then comes brute force. Okay, about cracking, it's a process of recovering password from data that has been stored or transmitted by a computer system in scanned form. Then comes brute force. So in brute force, what they are going to do is that here also they are going to crack, they are going to attack on the password. But how it is doing, they will try to make all the possible combinations. So the brute force attack consists of an attacker submitting many passwords or pass phrases with the hope of eventually guessing a combination correctly. So the attacker systematically checks all possible possible passwords and passphrases until the correct one is found.
Brute
Okay.
force.
Yeah, brute force.
Okay.
See what they are doing is that, see, for example, if you are telling
Trying
that
every.
student, if you are telling that you are a student at UGC, okay, sometimes
Okay.
your password may be like student, sometimes your
Okay.
password may be student UGC, sometimes your password may be student underscore UGC, or student ampersand UGC, student and UGC, like that. Many different combinations they will use. See, if they identify a part of your password, okay, they identify that your password starting with the student. So with the student, whatever the combination they can check, all the combination, all the combination they will try to make it.
Okay.
Okay, so then comes dictionary. So dictionary, that means select specific account to attack and uses commonly used passwords. That is like the dictionary. Like the dictionary, they will take a kind of what we can able to a commonly used password. Then comes denial of service. See, denial of service and distributed denial of service. These two are the main kinds of attacks. See, in your class, okay, you are having some enmity on someone. What you can do is that in every second, you are sending an SMS to them, or you are sending a WhatsApp message to them every second, every 2 seconds, every 5 seconds. So what will happen? It will be a disturbance for them. They may not be able to concentrate on their work. That is called denial of service. That means they are restricting to do the activity. Got it? So denial of service means attacker sends large number of connection or information requests to the target. So it's an attack meant to shut down a machine or network, making it inaccessible to its intended users. DOS attacks accomplish this by flooding, that means sending the target with the traffic or sending it information that triggers a crash, means continuously sending the information. The same thing in distributed denial of service. What you will do, you will request your friends also to send information to the so and so person. So not only from you, from distributed members. So here, coordinated stream of requests is launched against target from many locations simultaneously. Just imagine, in my case, okay, so you are having an enmity on me. You are sending me message continuously. So every time I want to look at the message, that means I cannot be able to concentrate on my work. Sometimes I will leave the work for a long period of time. Same way, you are requesting all your friends to send a message in every 5 seconds, every 5 minutes, like that. That is called distributed denial of service. So it targets websites and online access. The aim is to overwhelm them with more traffic than the server or network can be accommodated. Then comes spoofing, another threat or another attack. So it is also called as IP spoofing. See here, just see, can you able to see here from the picture? Can you able to see the picture?
Yes, we can see the picture. Okay,
see what was the IP source that they had given? 192.168.0.25, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it is sending to the IP destination 100.0.0.75. But just what they have done, that means the message is sent from some strangers to the destination. But what he had done, he changed the IP address to 100.0.0.80. That means what? Which is
Spoofing.
almost, yeah, which is almost similar to the destination IP address. Got it?
Yeah.
So what the
Similar to the destination IP.
Yes. Yeah. So what the destination people will think, yeah, it is coming from nearby places, or it is coming from
Okay.
known person like that, and they will try to access
Get
this information. That is called IP spoofing. So IP address
Get
spoofing
it.
or IP spoofing is the creation of internet protocol packets with a false source IP address. See, best example, with the help of different VPN, virtual private network, we are hiding the IP address of Sudan. And since we could not able to download many of the software from Sudan, so what we will do with the help of VPN, we will hide the IP address and we will get the IP address of some other country, maybe Romania, Russia, US, UK, etc. So people will think that, okay, it is from a genuine source. Automatically, they will give access to our activity. Then comes man in the middle. So it is the general term for when a perpetrator position himself in a conversation between a user and an application, either to eavesdrop or impersonate one of the parties, making it appears if a normal exchange of information. That means the attacker, they will monitor the network packets, modify them, and insert back them into the network. That means the middleman. See, from the source to destination. See this one. Which one? This one. Modification. Okay. So this is called the middleman. Got it?
Yeah.
Got it? Okay.
Correct.
Okay. Then comes spam. Spam means unsolicited commercial email. It is a nuisance. It is not an attack, but it's a nuisance because it will fill our storage. But luckily, the different email providers, what they had given the provision that every 30 days, the spam folder will be automatically deleted or automatically cleared. Then comes mail bombing. It's also a kind of distributed denial of service. They routes large quantity of email to target sniffers, same sniffing. So program or device that monitors data traveling over network can be used both for legitimate purpose and for stealing information from a network. So spam sniffer, what they will do is that the content or context of network security corresponds to theft or interception of data by capturing the network traffic using a sniffer. And then social engineering, using social skills to convenience people to reveal access to credentials. That means they will ask you for bank information, they will ask you for your passport details, etc., and other valuable information to attacker. Then finally, phishing. That means it's a fraudulent attack to obtain sensitive information like personal or financial information from individual, usually by posting a legitimate entry. That means suppose if you are getting a mail from me asking that, okay, I went to Juba, but unfortunately I lost my purse. Can you send me $100? Surely $100 means you won't feel that it's a big amount and you think that, okay, it's for your faculty, so you will help. But just imagine this $100, the phishing mail or the hacker is going to ask from millions of people. Just imagine how much he is going to get. And then comes spamming. So it's a form of cyber attack that sends you a fake website that looks like the real one. That means creating a fake website, particularly for job offers, they are using these websites. Okay, and then, okay, redirecting of legitimate web traffic, that is browser request to illegitimate site for the purpose of obtaining private information. Or in other words, we can tell it's a form of cyber attack that sends you to a fake website that looks like the real thing. The user will type in a legitimate web address and it redirects to a fake website that resembles to the real website. That means the front end or the first page will be taken from the original website, but the backend all will be the fake website. So you are entering you are creating, for example, a username and password, but the same username and password sometimes you will be used for your other social media accounts. It is easy for them to access those informations. In cyber security, then finally, a timing attack. It is relatively new, works by exploring the contents of a web browser's cache to create malicious cookies. So in cryptography, the timing attack is a side channel. It's a side channel attack in which the attacker attempts to compromise a crypto system by analyzing the time taken to execute cryptographic algorithms. The information can leak from a system through measurement of the time it takes to respond to the certain queries. That means for them, what they need is that they need to make you to stuck to a particular site. That means you need to spend certain time. That time you are spending in a particular website or in a particular content, that is enough for them to sneak. That is enough for them to steal your information. And some of the time that which we uses, for example, how much this information can be help as an attacker depends on many variables like cryptographic system design, your CPU running time, the algorithms used, assorted implementation details, timing attack, countermeasures, the accuracy of the timing measurements, etc. See, for example, whenever you are opening a website, sometimes they will ask you, we are using cookies, are you ready to accept it or not? So cookies generally, for what purpose it is used? It is used to know your activities. What the activities you are doing with the particular website. In order to know your activities in the website, they are using cookies. The cookies sometimes may be helpful, at the same time, sometimes it may be harmful. That means the web designer or the hacker, what he want to do is that you need to stay in the website for a certain period of time. That time is enough for them to steal your information. Okay, that's all for today.